Welcome to the Relationship Podcast. I'm Herb White, Editor-in-Chief of the Charlotte Post. Co-host is Patrice Johnson. And first episode, Lisa Crawford, who is founder, CEO, president, and head coach of In His Corner. This is a new initiative that Post is launching. And coaching means different things to different people. If you're an athlete, yes, coach. Your business, perhaps you have a coach. Relationships, that's a new one to me. So this is what we're going to get into with our very first initial, fresh out the box relationship podcast. Welcome to the podcast, Lisa. And what in the world does a coach for men do?
We coach men. I coach men. I coach men in relationships that are at risk, or relationships that they're just having problems with. They can't figure out how to communicate with the people that they love or the people that they work with. Then I'm the person that they call.
But how did you get here, though? That's my question. I guess, it's hard for men sometimes to trust women in general, and
or anybody,
or even to open up to women. So how did you get to a place where you decided you wanted to coach men instead of women?
Well, I grew up in a neighborhood full of boys.
Okay.
And I've always been what they call the male whisperer.
Mm-hmm.
I could always talk to them. They'd always listen. That was the most important part. They felt comfortable talking to me, and they still do. So it's easy. You would be surprised.
Okay.
You would really be surprised. Men really don't have a place where they can feel comfortable, feel safe, and be vulnerable and open, and not feel like the information that they're sharing is going to come back and they're going to hear it again, or it's going to show up in their face again. So once they get to talking, they talk a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, they talk a lot.
Like a broke refrigerator.
They have a lot. They have a lot of stuff to share. They have just a lot to share. They haven't expressed it ever, maybe. And so now all of a sudden they get in an environment that they feel like they can, and they do.
Why is that? Is it because of the society that we live in, where men are taught to be the strong, silent type, tough guys? You don't buckle, you don't look weak, you don't look soft, and because of that, it impacts everything that they do? Or is it something else?
No, it is exactly that. And in the book that I'm writing, I have a whole chapter on a word that I created. I also have a little bit of vocabulary, because I think the words nowadays that we use, men can't relate to. They can't use them. They don't feel anything about. So I'm starting to create a new language for men. And the word is segredo. It's an Italian word. It means secret. And what it is when boys and girls are raised from very young ages, they're taught different. Girls are comforted when they have some emotion. They fall down, they get hurt, their feelings are hurt, whatever, they're comforted. Boys are corrected. No, don't do that. Get up. Come on, buddy. You got this. Hush. Whatever those words are that silence them, or that minimize their feelings, their hurt, their pain, their struggle, their emotions, all of it. So what happens is they grow up that way. They grow up at 8, at 12, at 16, at 20. That becomes who they are. And they learn that, one, their emotions are unappreciated. 2, that they are punished or looked down on, or something like that, when they share them and express them. So if we raise them that way, how do we think that when they become grown men, they don't respond differently? They do. They respond the same way. And that's, in my coaching, that's what I see constantly.
Mm-hmm. That sounds almost like a sort of trauma, where you are, we don't talk about that, or you got to take one for the team sometimes, that type of thing. It sounds like it's traumatic, and that trauma is something that you live with until it's released or dealt with in some other way.
That's right. It's not a trauma that anybody inflicts on them intentionally. You know what I mean? It's just societal. It's the way society has trained us to be with our boys. I have a son. I'm making a real conscious effort to be different with him, because I see the trauma, your word, perfect word, I use it all the time, the trauma that Segredo has caused, making him not feel comfortable in his own emotions. And he's human. And we've taken half of men away. We've taken away a part of their humanity to being able to feel and express emotions. And until we give them a place, one, to understand that this has happened to them. It didn't happen by them. It's not their fault. They aren't broken. They just lost the tools. We gave girls tools early on. We nurtured them. What happened? Tell me. Oh my goodness. How you feeling? Girls have a heartbreak. All the girlfriends run over with ice cream and candy. We having a 3-hour trip. Boys, girl break up. She's
Man
heartbroken.
up.
Man up, man. You ain't want her nowhere. Keep on going. Let's go to the gym. Let's go to the gym.
Yeah.
And so we haven't taught them those tools. And so we have to go back, and we have to go back and, one, let them know that they are human. They are perfect just as they are, but they just don't have some tools that would help them be better.
So how do they find you? Am I dating someone, or if I'm married to someone and I say, listen, I think you need a coach, here's Lisa, or are the men coming to you on their own? How
Both.
does that work? Okay.
It's both. Now, when men find out that there's a coach, that there's a lady coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I use that a lot in my marketing because I am a lady coach. So men with me, they get the best of both worlds. They get a coach, but they also get the feminine, the female side of a perspective that they may or may not have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's valuable to them. Once they feel, I could be at Hickory Tavern just watching football, and it just happens to come up a relationship conversation, and once they start to understand, you'll see this big swarm of men come stand around, because I learned that they want to know, and they want to share, and they want to be better.
Now, how does the wife think, coming to a woman to seek help? Do you ever interact with the wives or what have you?
Or girlfriend.
If it's a long term.
Sometimes, yeah. I don't do girlfriends a lot unless it's a long term, looking forward to marriage, going on down that road.
Okay.
I don't do it usually. But wives are usually one of two ways. Either they're the ones who recommended them. They find out about me. They had a conversation with me. And they're like, oh yeah, my husband needs you. Oh yeah, give me whatever you got. I'm gonna pay for the first couple ones because he needs you. Like, they really want that. Or they're down the road. I coached a man who I don't know his wife. I know a lot about her, but I don't know her. But once he gets what I call healed and healthy, and he feels like he's healed and healthy, and then he starts in the relationship, making huge strides, making huge changes, doing things differently. A lot of times the wives won't allow them to change. They keep looking at them and responding to them and treating them the same way they always did, not recognizing that he's doing it differently, that he's being different. And so sometimes he will say, I don't understand. And then I may have a conversation or two with her, just so she can see. And usually she sees right away after that. And she's like, oh yeah. Oh, and she's truly grateful.
How then, in the process of coaching men up, in terms of what is the process? Is there a tried and true, or is everybody different and you have to do some examination to understand exactly where this man is before you can put him on the road to recovery?
Both. There's some tried and true things that I do systematically in my coaching the way, but once you get past the tried and true, it is really independent. It is really what he has gone through, what has happened in his relationship, how does he feel, what's his belief system, what's motivating him, all those things matter. And after we get down past the getting everybody sort of in the same place, where you understand where you are, you understand Segredo, you understand how you got here, you kind of understand vocabulary. I'm really big on vocabulary. We talk a lot about it. So once we get down to a certain part, then we start figuring out, okay, how is your situation specific? How do we help you get to what your goal is? Because every man has a different goal. So depends on what that goal is, that's what we work toward.
What if a man is resistant? And I understand that you say that the wife or the woman in his life
Mm-hmm.
may suggest that he visit you. And you also talked about language and words and being able to reach people that way.
Mm-hmm.
What if that man is resistant? I don't need any help, and I don't know why I'm even here. Or if he's in a position where it's like he is not necessarily comfortable with saying in words exactly what it is that is the issue.
So you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be open to it. You have to be ready for it. Now, he may not be ready. If you're that resistant, you may not be ready for some real truths about yourself, some self-examination, some self-evaluation. You may not be ready to make the necessary moves and changes and um, looking at things from a different perspective. You just may not be ready. And that's okay. It really is okay, because you aren't going to do yourself or your partner any good if you feel like you are forced. This is something you're forced to do. You have to be willing and ready and wanting it to be different. But usually, when I start talking about on the other side of the work, what life looks like, it's too intriguing not to try. It's like, I can get that. It can be, oh, wait a minute now. Hold on. What I got to do? Because a lot of times you get in a rut. You get just in a rut and you cannot see past what is happening right now.
So typically, when someone's cheated, I know for me, I'm ready to be out.
When they do what now?
If someone is cheated on,
Cheated
they're
on
ready
you.
to,
Yeah.
ready to leave. But then there are a lot of people who survive infidelity, and it strengthens their relationship. So, what do you find for those relationships that do make it? It's the common theme for those that survive a crisis.
Forgiveness.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, forgiveness is really at the forefront. You have to be willing to forgive. And people always ask me, does that mean forget? Well, of course it doesn't mean forget. You're never going to forget.
That's kind of hard.
And you should not. It's an impossible thing. But can you forgive and move on as if it was, I always say, a child unscarred? Because a child is don't run out and run on the playground and just do everything until they fall down and get scraped. And then now they look at it very timidly. Well, it's the same thing in relationships. Once it's happened, you have got to be willing to really forget that was a scar. You don't forget that you can get scarred, but you got to forget that scar. And usually when they do, and they can really, and both people are working toward the same goal, they can make it. I've seen that happen. And I love it when it happens.
I know.
Yeah, I do. I love it.
You talked about this is for men.
It is.
Only.
Yes.
Well,
exclusively.
So there's a shingle. No girls allowed.
It doesn't say no girls allowed. It's not.
But in terms of the people that you work with, it's always men. Then the emphasis is on making sure that man understands that he has the tools to change his situation and, by extension, relationships.
That's right. He does.
Okay.
We all do. One of my Lisa-isms is it only takes one person in a relationship to change for the entire relationship to change. The entire thing to change. And if I have a very soft spot for men for a lot of reasons, but God created him first in his own likeness. And he sits at the highest position. If we make him healthy, if we fortify him, if we build him, if we lift him up, if we make him complete and whole on the inside, the world is going to be a different place. It's going to be a different place for me. It's going to be a different place for her. It's going to be a different place for your children. It's going to be a different place for him as a boss, him as a teammate. It's just going to be different. And I want to be a part of that solution. I want to make that happen for all of us.
You have really set out what the goals are. And men, as a man, I know we can be a little resistant. Sometimes we don't catch hints very well.
I'm not a hitter. I don't hit. Keep it 100.
And so, from that standpoint, when men get together and talk about women or whatever relationship that they're in,
Yeah.
you hear the locker room talk. Oh man, you're better than that. There's more fish in the sea. Those types of things. How caustic is that to what men's experience becomes when your guys are over here telling you one thing, but you are not listening to the entirety of your own existence?
Right. So men need that. They need that support system. They just don't need it to be the only system that they have. They need a different voice coming from where the problem is. So if your problem is with your son and you're talking to your other wives or fathers and you all are comparing notes, then that might be a good thing. You're learning from each other and you're doing it. If you are, however, if you're dealing with your wife or you're dealing with your secretary or your boss or any of those female relationships and you're talking to the guys, understand you're really talking to yourself a lot of times. You're going to get back sort of the same sense of where you are right now. So if you want something different, if you want a different perspective, and I can't remember who said it, but how's that working for you? Dr. Phil, I think. He says, is it working?
Mm-hmm.
Is that working? Is that enough too? Because usually it's very superficial. Oh man, it's cool, what? That's not where the answer is. The answer is deeper.
So it's not enough to hold a mirror to yourself.
That's right. It's not enough. It's not enough. In the mirror, the man in the mirror. I have a whole chapter in my book called "The Man in the Mirror," because it is very important.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to get into the mirror because you've got to be able to see yourself, not the person you think is there, not the person that you dream is there, but the person that's really there. And you have to ask yourself some questions, and you have to have real answers to it.
Mm-hmm.
So for those men who may not make it to your chair or couch or what have you,
Yeah.
What are some things if they mess up that they could do to start rebuilding their relationship today?
So I think the first thing is they've got to figure out how they got there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got to figure out how they got there. What was going on in them that got them to make a decision that was detrimental to themselves? And once you start digging, you realize you can't dig enough for yourself. You really need someone else to help you do the digging. Because if real change is going to happen, you're going to have to admit and face things that you may not be willing to ask yourself. So the first thing I would tell them is start that process. Start it. Secondly is you have got to be transparent. You have got to be an open book. And people think that's open like, okay, I got to give her my cell phone. That's not the open that I'm talking about. I'm talking about you got to be open in here. What are you feeling? What are you not saying? What should you be saying? What are the things where trust is built? I say one of the things I always talk about is never let doubt in. Because once you plant doubt, it grows. I mean, it grows like, mint in your garden. It's going to take over
everywhere.
Mint go everywhere. It take over everything. You know what I mean? Don't put mint in your garden. Put it in a pot, right?
Away from everything? Yeah.
That's right. That's what doubt is. Because as soon as you allow doubt in, then everything is questioned. Everything, you really have to dig up your whole garden, throw it all out, and start with new soil. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens in relationships. You just have to dump it all out and plant new soil.
Man, this is getting deep. But I want to talk about goal setting and time.
Okay.
In terms of, all right, so once you get a client in, you coach them up, is there a clock that's running? Or if you have a client who says, well, you know what? You need to fix me within a month. That kind of thing. Is that possible? And if not, then what is the process looking like in terms of when you're
when
in
you're
a
there.
good spot?
Yeah. So no, I'm not gonna. No, we're not gonna. You're not gonna fix you because I'm not gonna fix you. But you're not gonna fix you in a month. Not gonna happen. I mean, I don't know in any circumstances that that's ever happened. However, as committed as you are to the process, the better results you get. The quicker you move forward, you move down the path. Now, just because you're moving doesn't mean your spouse is moving at the same pace. So remember, we're trying to do this together. Even though she's not a part of the coaching part of it, she's still sitting, she's still moving. You got to get in sync with her. And sometimes that can happen quickly. Sometimes it can really happen quickly because you have an aha moment like, I have really been doing this wrong. You know what I mean? And some men do that. They're like, oh my goodness. When you start pulling back the cover and letting them see, they're like, I'm the problem. And I promise you. Listen, I promise you. They said, oh my God, it's me. And for a woman, it's an amazing thing. Because I had a whole bunch of people that have not been. But no, they really do. They're like, wow, I did that and I did that. Well, I see why she acted like that because I did this and that. Once they begin to see.
And sometimes it's just coming from someone else. Hearing it from
Like
the
a
wife all
child.
the time, it's the same thing over and over again. But hearing it from somebody who's not in the relationship and that's not biased is a different kind of.
A totally third party.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I say you can't do the work.
Yeah,
You really can't do the work by yourself. That's right. Yeah.
What types of men come in? Are we talking about on the economic scale, for instance?
Okay, well, hold on for a second. I didn't answer the last part of that question.
Oh, okay.
You said, is there a time when you know that you've gotten to the end?
Yeah.
Which I think is important, is that you will know. They all know. I know, they know. They're like, I'm good. Like, I got it. Like, they've really done the work. They really dug in, and they see the world differently. And they're like, okay, I'm good. And then they just, keep me around because, they don't want to mess up. They don't fall out. But then it usually goes on to something else. The relationship with their in-laws or what's happening at work or because then they start to see how the coaching pays off and how they have blind spots that they just didn't see.
You can apply it everywhere.
You can apply it everywhere. That's exactly right.
Okay. All right.
Okay, now you asking me about, are there particular men?
Yeah. Are we talking about executive types, 6 and 7 figure guys, lower income, fast food guys or whatever? What types of men come to you?
So I have a vast variety of clients that come from everywhere. But the bulk of my clients do come from a more professional, well, I don't even know if that's true. It is heavily people who have, who are used to winning. People that are used to winning and they're not winning anymore. It's like any other coach. If their friends are beating them at golf, they're gonna call my daddy. You know what I mean? Because they want a lesson. You know what I mean? They understand the value of coaching. They understand the value of a different perspective. So it is heavily on that end. But I do have, I would just say, some regular guys who love their wives, but they're just not happy. And they see it going left, and somebody told them, hey, I know this girl. That's how I use this. I know this girl. You really need to talk to her. She is great. And that's how they find me. And I coach them all the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so in coaching them all the same, I guess that means that men at their core are kind of like, well, no matter where they are in life, they've all had a similar type of experience that landed them with you.
Yeah, they landed them, and which is not a bad thing. Don't say it with me like that.
Because
men are not broken. Yeah, but they're not broken. They don't need to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They need tools. they need support. They need encouragement. You know, they need a different perspective. You know, they need motivation. You can, if you think it's broken and you can't fix it, you're willing to throw it out. But if it's broken and you know that somebody can help you and you can fix it, what are you going to do? You're going to invest in somebody fixing it, because we don't like just throwing things out. So it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They, once they know that they can,
you can reclaim it.
You can reclaim it. Yes, you can. Yes,
do you have a good success story or something? One of your clients that, I know you can't say anything about the client.
No names, please.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I would tell you.
Do you have
know,
a success story?
Yeah, I have a real success story. In fact, I talked to him yesterday. Maybe a year ago, he found me through another client that I coached, and we started the process. But he came in very, very clear about his goals. He is out.
Okay.
So understand, my goal is what my client's goal is. You know what I mean? I want to help you save your marriage. That's my goal. But if that's not your goal, and you want to leave the marriage, you want to leave, then I'm going to help you leave it in such a way that you don't traumatize the people within it as little as possible.
No, that's interesting. I guess I assumed you just helped everybody, tried to help everybody get
out.
To,
Yeah.
Well, no, to get back to a place of peace and happiness at home, not necessarily an escape if they wanted to escape. So that's good.
Yeah, no. I want, because I mean, our marriages aren't able to be saved. They're irreparable things that happen that you can't save it. But then, how do you leave it in such a way that you don't damage all the relationships and the people in those homes, exercising your right to exit if that's what you choose to do.
Well, I didn't let you finish your story.
Okay, so my story, he's out. He's done. He is out. He is, woo, he is out. Some people are out, he out. Okay, he two out,
okay.
right? Yeah, he just done. And I helped the person who recommended me, I helped him through his divorce. So he's coming to me, I'm helping you through your divorce. Well, of course, we can't start there, because I can't coach you from that position. We got to go back a little bit. And in going back, long story short, I won't make it long, but in going back, we had to address some things, and he got to see some things from a different perspective. How he eroded the relationship with his wife by things that he did and didn't do. And how she got to that point. Because now I can also speak her language. I can tell you, okay, you did that. Let me show you. Let me tell you how that made me feel. I'm her. This is what that did to me. Oh, I didn't. That's. Then all of a sudden, yeah. So fast forward, almost a little bit over a year now, and if I tell you, he told me yesterday that his wife got up early, about 4:00, and she put the sun out.
Oh, wow.
She hung it outside. Because now he is totally in a different place. He is one, he's a wonderful husband. He's a much better father, an amazing boss. And he is happy inside. He is healthy. He feels motivated. And he's back in love with the person that he was in love with that he married. You know, now, did I need to work with her a little bit? I needed to work with her a little bit too. But now the two of them are amazing. They are amazing. Okay. I mean, they are I smile. It makes me a little bit
a little bit weepy.
A little bit weepy because I see her and I can see her from across the way, and she is just beaming, and that means that he is living on maximum. That's another word. We won't go in that today, but yeah, he's living on maximum.
His best life.
He is doing it the right way.
Is there a point of no return? Whether it's age or just the trauma or whatever. You've got a 75-year-old who shows up and says, "You know what? I could use some coaching."
No, there's no
age limit?
No, absolutely not. It's self. This is about self and self-happiness. And you have the right to be happy and find your people and the joy and love and commitment and all of that at whatever age.
Okay.
At whatever age.
Okay. Is there the type of client you say, this one is going to be really difficult. If you run across those types of people, and how does that work out when you got that kind of man in front of you where it's like, there's a lot to unpack with this one?
Yeah. Yes. There are some that are far more difficult. They've had far more embedded trauma in them than, maybe others that are compounded. There, some things happen at this level, but then other things happen at here, and then more things happen. So they have compounded trauma. So they have a lot of things to work through for themselves, and you have to be willing to do the work to get the results. You're not gonna be a bodybuilder because you went to the gym yesterday.
Maybe lift a couple of weights.
Yeah, just because you went there and you didn't just sit around and talk to the people. You have to do the work.
Yeah. And to me, this type of coaching, this is a form of mental health.
It is.
Because you are apparently in a dark place in terms of your relationships, which grate on your mind, which creates issues elsewhere. And if you get right in your relationship, you can use it anywhere.
You can use it anywhere. These tools, I talk about it being love, leadership, and life. So you can, it works all the way around. You get it right in your love life, you take it to your leadership and where you work or where you invest your time and energy and talents, and then in your life, in everything and everybody around you.
Yeah. Sounds like great stuff. Any man out there who's in need of some coaching,
you should reach out. You should.
How can they find you if they want to do that?
Yeah, inhiscornercoaching.com is the easiest way to find me. Inhiscornercoaching.com. It's me, nobody else. Got no big team. So if you reach out, then I'll talk to you.
How long does a session usually last?
They pay for an hour.
Okay.
But it sounds like it lasts a lot longer than the hour.
A lot longer than an hour, yeah. So I give them an hour. I give them a free hour. My friends are like, you do what? But again, it's that unpacking. It's that safe space that they haven't ever had before. So when they come in for that first time consultation, it's and I meet usually via Zoom or the phone. Usually most of the people I'm talking to on the phone. But they get a free hour that ends up being sometimes 2 hours. Because they have a lot that they finally get to say in an environment where they feel safe and comfortable and heard. I mean, you would be surprised the amount of times I hear nobody listens to me. Mm-hmm. Nobody. I'm in my house and I could be talking and nobody's listening.
And do you ever go through this unpacking and decide I'm not the right person for this client? It's not a good fit, and refer them somewhere else?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It depends on what what the conversation is and how it goes. They may need something deeper
than what you can
than what I can provide them. Yeah, and I absolutely recommend. I have several people that I recommend that they go seek therapy.
Mm-hmm. So this isn't therapy.
This isn't therapy. This is coaching.
The coaching and the therapy for you is?
Well, for me, therapy is like real therapy, where we're going to analyze and we're going to do. It's sort of a fine line, but it's really not. Therapy is really it's a skill that takes a person through something that's very systematically, that I think the people that do it are amazing. That they just can chronologically help you work through, real significant trauma that has really changed who you are or who you were supposed to be, And coaching is, I would say it's a lot lighter than that. It's not that deep. It's really a lot of things that but just a lot of things that you haven't heard from a lady, being real honest with you about it. And it's much more relaxed.
Distinction would be important for some men.
It's a lot more relaxed environment. It's just, and I'm going to keep it 100. And everybody who knows me, I have one golden rule I have one golden rule. You can never lie to me.
Okay.
You have to be. If you lie to me, then you don't need to be here. I don't need to talk to you. One, I'm not gonna waste your time because you're taking a spot that somebody who really needs, that wants to do the work, is gonna be, that needs your spot. So, and there've been a few clients who've had to learn the hard way that are still calling me today trying to get on my calendar, and it's
Not gonna happen.
Once.
once. That's it.
Now you know that line, Lisa. You out here.
Listen. I've been doing this a long time. I know how to ask some questions and come back around and be like, wait a minute, what? No.
You know a lie when you hear it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, so that's the golden rule. So as long as you can do that, we can work together.
And the book, what can we expect? The book?
Yeah,
We're gonna keep you accountable.
I know. I keep talking about this book. It's further along than it's been. So I'm excited about it. It's coming.
All right.
It's coming.
Next year.
Oh no, yeah. Definitely next year. Yeah, definitely for sure.
Because we're about ready to turn to September, so that's
well,
what I asked.
Next year is. I didn't say next year, January.
Well, understood. 2026.
2026. Oh yeah, for sure. It'll be out in 2026. Yeah.
So to wrap this up, if you are just talking to random Joe Schmo, what do you say? Okay, Schmo Jones.
Okay.
What do you tell him? In just as a little piece of free advice in terms of relationships, coaching, the necessity, or whatever it is that you would say to him to either get help or get yourself together.
I would say that you are not broken, that you are perfect just the way you are. You just need a few tools, that everything is possible. Anything that you are thinking about in your relationship that you would like to have, you can have it. You just have to do some things differently. That's it.
That's plenty. That's good stuff that we can all benefit from, regardless of where we are.
Yeah.
So
when I talk, when I talk, I hope that women receive it as well. That there's something in it that they see how they can use it as well.